An elderly Mangawhai couple could be kicked out of their home over a long-running rates dispute with Kaipara District Council. Bruce and Heather Rogan have until Friday to pay the council $115,000 in court costs and penalties. The rates rebels say their quality of life has plummeted as a result of the stoush. Reporter Nick Trubridge and cameraman Nick Monroe spoke to the Rogans about their ordeal.
Bruce and Heather Rogan sit in the house they could lose as they recount their bitter battle against the system. After numerous lengthy court spats, the Mangawhai couple's struggle is nearly over. The rates rebels have been given until Friday to pay Kaipara District Council more than $100,000 of court costs and penalties. Refuse to pay, and they believe the council will move heaven and earth to foreclose on them.
At the moment, they're pursuing us for the court costs and the penalties and interest. However, they did, after some negotiation, after we offered to pay, we said, OK, we can't afford to pay all that, but we can pay $80,000 and settle it. They turned that down and said no. We will forego the interest, which was about $7,000. So we'll forego that, but you must pay the rest, which comes to about $115,000. And you have until the 22nd of May, this Friday, to pay that. And basically, if you don't pay, we have charging orders, 3 charging orders, over your property.
The Rogan story can be traced back over a decade. In 2006, Kaipara District Council told ratepayers it would borrow $35 million to build a sewerage system in Mangawhai. The following year, it drew down $60 million for an expanded scheme without consultation or revealing the debt. Bruce, Heather and hundreds of fellow ratepayers were outraged and resisted rates payments in protest.
Getting information, yes, but we wanted to see some action taken because once the state of the blowout had been disclosed, we said, well, this is not something that you could conceivably leave alone. You've got to do something about this because if a business entered into a project that was going to cost $20 million and it ended up spending $80 million on that project, somebody would be held to account because the shareholders wouldn't tolerate anything else. And we're the shareholders of the council.
Back in 2013, the High Court made it clear ratepayers would have gained the declaration they so longed for, that rates levied for the sewerage system were invalid. However, Parliament gazumped the court by months earlier passing a bill validating the rates. Bruce says he only ever wanted to get to the bottom of the council's gaffe.
And we said, well, you know, we accept something's gone badly wrong, but now let's find out what went wrong in detail and who did it. Who was responsible for letting it go so wrong? And the council simply refused point blank.
Following the High Court ruling, the Rogans, along with hundreds of residents, paid their rates minus the penalties. But Kaipara District Council returned those payments and hit back by suing residents for both rates plus the penalties. The Rogans became a test case and after years traversing the country's judicial system, eventually lost at the Supreme Court.
We thought somebody had to do this, and I've always been a pretty dogged sort of person, and we both operate on the basis of principle. We always have.
Bruce says the battle has pretty much killed him. He's had both hips replaced, his prostate was removed, and he has been diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
So my quality of life has taken a hell of a hit. And of course, an immense amount has fallen on Heather as a result of my difficulties over this. So what has kept us going is our grandchildren. Excuse me. We don't want to leave a world We don't want to leave a world in which they can't have any faith in the system. Because if we don't have the rule of law, we don't have anything. I'm sorry, I'm just...
But the 74-year-old couple isn't alone. Donations have come from hundreds of Mangawhai locals as well as ratepayers from around the country. Over the years, some individuals have given as much as $10,000. Clearly, the Rogans have backup, but Heather believes it may be time to walk away.
We feel really we have no choice but to pay. However, a question has arisen as to the legality of their pursuing penalties when we have, on a number of occasions, actually paid our rates. On one occasion, all the rates which from striking ratepayers were paid to them, and then they were all returned. But they say that they have a legal opinion that says that they can still charge penalties on rates even though they've been tendered, given the rates, and that they've sent them back. So we're up in the air a little bit about that.
Kai Premier Jason Smith says court-ordered interest charges could be added to what the Rogans owe if they don't pay. But the council could go further and take the couple's property.
That is one possibility. Quite simply, they have a debt to be paid, and they can pay it however they choose. It is regrettable how long this process has all gone on for, and it's a very, very sad story, and I am sad.
One way or the other, the decade-long saga will end on Friday. For Checkpoint, Nick Trubridge.